And I'm going to do that. Maybe he was planning on doing that anyways, but he made the counter to what Patience did.
Yeah.
And let's see if Patience does something a little bit more standard, something less extreme this time to try to get ahead.
And Solar with no specific build, really, just straight up fantastic macro play in CVP. He's so known for being good in this matchup. Let's see if he can follow it up with another one going into game number 2 on Dust Towers. Here we are on Dust Towers. Very big 2-player map. And up in the top right, in the red, the Zerg player winning that last one from Samsung Galaxy Con. It is, of course, Solar. Let's see if he can follow this one up. Continue his streak.
Yep. More fan words here. They want to see. They wanted to see him become the best Zerg. The blue Protoss down here is his opponent, Patience. Sorry guys, I'm having some technical difficulties today. It's getting me a little bit flustered. This is pretty rare. So just one more step and you make the finals. Hope you make it there. Another fan there. Okay, Dust Towers, big map here for game 2. A huge map, one of our biggest in the pool. And obviously holding your third base becomes a lot easier. Your natural is also basically free.
The hope of Star League, Patience fighting.
I feel like Patience is somewhat the favorite amongst the Korean fans in the studio today because he's kind of like the underdog. And that often breeds this story of like, I want this guy to make it. Obviously the ZVZ finals that people want to avoid as well. Is just something that's kind of been, it's StarCraft history, right?
Yeah.
For any fan, you don't want a mirror matchup finals. You don't want a team kill finals. Those are the things that people want to avoid. Even if you have it, doesn't mean it's a bad finals, but it's just what people don't want to see compared to the other matchups. But guess what? Solar might make it happen. He's already 1-0 in this best of 7.
He's looking so good too. I would definitely favor him going into this match as well on this map. I just feel like, you know, Patience, he has certain builds and he's trying to be tricky, but you know, it just didn't work out. Like, Solar is going to scout him and just see everything that he's doing once again on this map, and he's going to aggressively take bases if Patience wants to go Phoenixes again. And you can get up to 4 bases decently easy on this map just because of how big it is. Like, the 4th base is pretty far away from your 3rd, but if you get it up early enough, you can get some defense over there, start spreading your creep, and be ready to defend that.
Yeah. For me, the big question is what sort of composition are we going to see out of Solar, because last game he went for the Baneling-oriented play, did some Ling drops, didn't end up dropping any Banelings, but definitely had the opportunity / option to do so because he could have committed that he could have morphed those Lings into Banelings and then dropped, but he opted instead for the scouting version to just get some damage and get some pressure. Not look for the big damage, but look for the little harassment and look for that guaranteed vision of you know, what exactly it was that Patience was doing, and he gained a lot of that vision. You know, it was very important, very impactful in that last game. Overlord's speed is about to finish, and so he's going to come over here. He's going to see this 3rd base, and he's going to swing around both Overlords. Like 2 Overlords coming in, one at the 3rd base, one in the main.
He sees the 3rd and he sees the Oracle. Doesn't even need to sacrifice that one that was coming in on the right because he has the other one on the left. Sees no Stalker and knows that it's a Stargate, obviously, into 3rd base. And so what is he going to do? He's going to put down Spores, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into an earlier 4th base himself.
Now here comes that Oracle, 3 Queens waiting for him, and Spore Crawler. So it gets no damage done, but he saves the Oracle. Obviously, quick reaction time from a top-tier Protoss here in Patience.
You were talking about all the stuff that Solar was doing and, you know, just covering all of his bases, and I really think that just speaks to his confidence in the matchup where he's like, I'm just going to make sure I don't take any damage. I'm not going to die to anything. I'm not going to take any big risks. I'm not going to skip a Spore in my back door. I'm going to put a Spore at every base. I'm not 100% sure if he's got a Dark Shrine. Let me just make it anyway. Let us get to the late game because I can defeat him there. That's kind of the way that, you know, Solar is playing this out. This is the story he wants to tell them.
Yeah, exactly, right? He's basically he's preparing for winter, you know, and he's going to be better prepared. Like, he's trying to go for late game. Throw anything at me. and I will hold it, and then I will just be ahead and take that advantage, take that lead, and I'm the better player in the late game. He has great ZVP, and that's sometimes what ZVP is all about. Hold off whatever shenanigans the Pross is going to throw at you, then you just have the better comp. There are some exceptions. There are timings and all-ins, which Solar is also exceptional at. But this in these first 2 games, he's just trying to... This is harass. He's going to do some damage, but this is also information that he's going to gain with these Lings. And it's going to force Patience to send some units back. That 1 Adept Warp in here is not going to be enough to stop these Lings from scouting. Look, he runs, move commands, goes over here. And yes, he gets damage done, but if there was anything hidden, like if he was transitioning to triple Stargate again or something crazy, he would have seen it.
Or a Dark Shrine, you know, in the back door. If he wants to see that. He also gets to see the follow-up tech after the Stargate. He's like, okay, exactly what are you doing? Sees the timing on the Forge. You know, as we keep saying, he's basically just scouting the hell out of Patience and making it look very easy as well. It looks like he is going to go into Banelings in the +1 melee. Does make a Ro.4 as well. Kind of interesting. I suppose he's going to do kind of what he did in that last game. You saw he was making some Roaches and Ravagers, but then once the triple Stargate came out, he kind of like just let that idea go because he just wanted to go into Ling, Queen, Bane.
Sure, it's very flexible, you know. That's one of the cool things about Zerg is your tech structures are not actually production facilities, so you can make a Roach-born. It in itself doesn't cost much more than a Ravager when you take all the costs together, but it allows you to make Roaches if you need to with the larvae you have available, so it's not a crazy investment to commit to. Roach Speed, on the other hand, is a little bit more of an investment, and he is going for that. This is a triple Baneling drop with 2 Zerglings that he has coming into this this main base here, and we'll see if this actually finds that damage. It is spotted.
Yeah, 2 drops passed in the night, and is he okay? Thought for a second he wasn't going to react, but good reaction there by Patience. He does stop that. But at the same time, the Warp Prism was scouted, and Solar shouldn't take any damage here. I don't even think he's going to let those Adepts drop out as long as he has some defense back at home. Look at how well he splits his units, actually. He does like half and half into the back door and into the third base. Does need to get some Banelings over here for the mass warp-in of Adepts.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And here come the 2 Banelings. They're cut off. Nice. Shade and Pickup to dodge them. But there's another set. As you said, he split his units basically perfectly. This is actually very expensive. He finds 4 drones in total, but definitely not worth the cost, especially because he doesn't have a 4th base, whereas Solar does, and taking a 5th base is not even out of the question for him coming up here very shortly now that he has Baneling speed finishing, Roach speed as well.
Yeah.
And this is just, I mean, he's not finding any holes in Solar's defense right now, and he's starting to get this massively. He's getting a Hive right now.
And a Spire, so it looks like Broodlords is going to be the tech, and I'm not sure if he sees the double robo production of the Immortals, but Broodlords is going to be perfect against that. He knows that there's only 1 Stargate on the map as well, so I really like the choice of tech. He's not taking the earliest 5th base in the world either. He's like, no, I just want to get my tech up first, make sure I can totally defend as well. And he hasn't really taken that much damage as we've been seeing while teching up at the same time.
So what's really important right now for Patience is to scout that it is going to be Broodlords and respond accordingly. He does have, obviously, Adept's attack speed. This is cool.
He's getting charge.
Yeah, he has Adept attack speed. He's going to have charge. So these things will allow him to outmaneuver the Broodlords and harass and kind of pick Solar apart from, you know, these Warp Prisms alone. And this is really sexy. Just makes 2 Archons and help protect these Zealots. Oh, he needs to finish this off, though. Okay, well, I guess he's just going to warp in more.
Yeah, he's just going to lift those Archons and save them. Another drop going on meanwhile.
You know what? This is actually a pretty efficient fight for him, though. Even though if he saves the Archons, it's good, but...
He could have saved both the Archons and traded out with a ton of Lings, and it just makes sense when your opponent is relying on only Lings and Banes for harass. Just get a couple of Archons in there and try. Unfortunately, it ended up being pretty expensive because he didn't save him.
Yeah, he can kill that base later with a charged Zealot Warp, and though it's still very low. He scouts with the drop in the main base the Greater Spire, so he starts a Fleet Beacon, a 2nd Stargate, so he's going to have Tempest eventually to deal with this. And this is just pressure. I don't think he should really commit any further than this, clearing up the creep. But he's going to continue to harass. He has 2 Prisms, and I think that's exactly what you want against this slow Zerg style. 1 Muta coming out as well, probably to help deal with those. Look at that, exactly rallied right to the Prism with that Corruptor. But if you don't kill the Prisms, the threat is always there, and they will get, the Pross will always get Charged Zealot drops into your main. It's going to happen. So you need to eliminate those Prisms and be careful about when you decide to move across the map with your slow comp. This is so risky.
Solar could crush this army right now, and he sees it. He's not going to commit, though.
It's not even like there's a mothership with this for recall. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
I was like, man, if he doesn't have a mothership, he could just lose his whole army and then get snowballed or rolled over.
Again, he's playing it so safe. He's like, no, I don't even want to fight this army. I can give up that 5th. There's no way I save it. He's coming in now, but really good force field. It's going to block off a lot of the links. He's forced to recall at the end of it all. Does snipe the 5th base, which is very important, and is going to have an answer for the Brood Lords. Nice little baneling drop here into the 3rd base.
This is almost more significant than what Patience just did, but you know, it was a nice recall. It's actually rare you see a recall save every unit. I mean, one Archon died before the mothership was in range, but he didn't miss anything. Didn't leave any Zealots or Stalkers behind. With no Stalkers in the army, it's hard to do, but you always see that lone Stalker get left behind. This Muta is super important that it actually misses the Prism, but if he eliminates these Prisms, then suddenly Patience doesn't have any room to pressure or do anything while he just sits and takes the damage from these Brood Lords. He's got 2 Tempests about to pop out. Those are the only 2 he has, right? Or does he have more?
No, he has 5
Okay, they're just not here. Here they come.
I don't know if those Queens are enough. He's only got 6 here. Okay, he's coming over with some Banelings and some Ravagers, but a lot of the Corruptors that he's making right now are not with this army.
No, he's targeting down these Brood Lords one by one, but can he save the Nexus? That's the question here. It's already taking massive damage. I don't think he can save it. Guardian Shield goes up. He's going to commit to the fight. Banelings crashing into Zealots here. The Archons live, but the Nexus does not. These Brood Lords not retreating either, killing the rocks. Maybe a misclick there. He's going to lose all of his queens.
Loses all the queens, loses basically all of the Brood Lords, and now there's a really scary Protoss army. I'm not sure if that 4th base was totally worth it. Let's see if Patience gets aggressive here with the army that he has.
Now look at what Patience is doing. He's making Void Rays because he knows the Corruptors are going to be the answer most likely for the Tempest. Now what's the other answer we could see? Mass and Muta. So he's also getting Anion Pulse Crystals. He's kind of keeping himself safe in every way. Those Void Rays are not ready yet, though, for these Corruptors. He needs to back off. And he's going to actually start poking here.
I think that was an accidental A move, looks like. And yeah, he needs some more anti-air to deal with these Corruptors. Got to be careful when you're around Archons. Even just 2 or 3 can really put a dent in your Corruptor number, at least to their health, especially if they group up.
So, also Patience has a very big gas problem because he lost this base. He's going to have to take fights soon that he wouldn't otherwise want to. And look at this, Banelings just crash in. He does not have enough on the ground, but will with these Void Rays allow him to kill the air units here, the Corruptors, they will. And now he may save this Nexus yet. He does not have any Archons here. There's the cancel.
Oh, wow. Nice cancel there right at the last second. But
no Archons left.
Very important that he does get the cancel there because, as you're saying, you can't support 4 Stargate Tempest on the amount of gas that he's mining right now. He's nearly mined out in his main, actually. Only about 140 left.
Yeah. I mean, this is tough right now for Patience. He's going to possibly just die a slow, painful death. Unless he wins one crazy fight. Maxing out is going to take him so long because he doesn't have gas. I mean, yeah, we saw Curious die. I don't even remember who he was playing against in Pro League in Afrika's final match because he flew Corruptors over Archons and did a micro. Yeah. But, I mean, that's not something Solar's going to do. We've already seen a micro well.
Classic in that game. Yeah, they had a really long macro game, went to the late game. You know, very classic Curious style.
But that was a much closer game than this. I mean, this is very one-sided so far, and Solar has total control.
I mean, now that there's Vipers added in, this is going to make the amount of control he has over the air units and the air battles just so much better.
Yeah, he can Parasitic Bomb, but he can also abduct individual Void Rays.
Or even Tempest, grab those in. Snipe them one by one. I think the Parasitic Bomb is going to be good against the Void Rays. We'll see what he wants to go for here. Parasitic Bomb is the choice.
And he's not splitting those voids. The Nexus goes down.
Base again.
Yeah, he's not splitting the voids very well. I mean, they lose only shields here. But here come the Corruptors in. Viper's focused first. He has Archons. They're almost underneath those, but they're not quite. They're only hitting the left side. And it looks like he will win the air battle, but he's going to lose the Archons here. And he doesn't have this base anymore. It looks like he survives for now. Solar is bleeding a lot of money into this, actually.
And look at what he's making now. Ultras, that's not the answer. You don't want to go against Void Ray Tempest Archon with Ultras, right? That's like the exact last unit you want.
The thing is, he keeps sniping this Nexus, so it's hard to keep making Tempest. But he doesn't kill the Tempest, so the Tempests are still alive. So this is actually crazy. This Oracle is getting 7 kills, 8 kills right now. This is the stage of the game. One queen here is not enough.
Yeah, see, queens, he needs to group them up. There they are, trying to focus down these voids.
Archons here going to fight the Ultras. The Void Rays use their prismatic alignment. They need to get away from those queens. They're targeting the queens. They're prioritizing the anti-air here. Looks like the Ultras are just going to run past and go for that 4th base, and he can target this base instead. Canceled again to save that money, and he's just going to target this base down. Queens and Corruptors coming over, though. He gets the base, but what's he going to lose? What's the cost here?
So many Queens and Corruptors, and it's enough. GG. Solar takes the game once again. And he does go up 2-0 in the series. Such dominant play so far.
Insanely dominant. He looks so much better overall. Patience is panicked.
You can see the look on Patience's face. He's like, no, please, not again. Not again. I've been through this once in the same year. I don't want it to happen to me twice. And in order to deny it from Solar, he's going to have to win at least one of these games. But so far, Solar is just looking so dominant in this series.
Yeah, I mean, he really is. There were a few shaky moments, I guess you could argue, but it was because Patience, what he was doing was smart and standard, and it's hard to fight against that Pro army. But I never felt like in either of those games where I was like, oh, Patience he has control. And Solar needs to really rethink what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, there was that one moment where he sniped the 5th base, and he was able to get out, and he was making Tempest back at home, and it's like, oh, maybe he can hold his 4th. But after he lost his 4th, like for the 3rd or 4th time, it was just too much for him to handle. If he could have held on to that 4th somehow, maybe he takes the other 4th. Maybe that would have been easier to defend. There would be less high ground for the Broodlords. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it was really close.
He had so much. He just had such a large ground army. The Archons didn't phase him. He just had so many Banes. He could blow up anything, including Archons. And the Banes do the splash damage to the hatchery, or excuse me, the Nexus as well. That's nearby. And the Broodlords there. He didn't kill them fast enough. I asked you, I was like, how many Tempests does he have? And I'm like, oh, he has 5. Why aren't they here saving his Nexus? He didn't.
They were late. They had just popped out. It was pretty unfortunate, guys. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna go to game 3 after that.
Creatures like us can't be alone. Creatures like us, we're free.